Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're totally decoding David Bach's famous blueprint for building massive wealth. And the best part? You don't actually need a massive salary to do it. If you've ever felt like you're working incredibly hard but not getting any richer, well, you are in exactly the right place. We're going to strip away all that confusing financial jargon and look at the raw, proven mechanics of how wealth is actually created.
So, let's dive right into things by asking our primary question. Can an average person really become wealthy just by automating their finances and sticking to a simple system? I mean, we're constantly sold this idea that you've got to be a tech CEO or some Wall Street investing genius to build a seven-figure net worth. But what if the secret to wealth isn't about making a fortune, but rather setting up a system that literally won't let you fail?
To answer that, you have to meet the McIntyres. Back when David Bach was a young financial advisor at Morgan Stanley, he met Jim and Sue McIntyre. They were an absolutely ordinary couple. They never made more than $53,000 in a single year, and their average income was a super modest $40,000. Yet, they walked into Bach's office at age 52 with a net worth of nearly $2 million. No way, right? They owned their home outright and had this massive pile of investments. Bach was completely stunned. He just had to know how they did it.
Turns out, they pulled off this incredible feat using the exact strategies laid out in David Bach's famous book, The Automatic Millionaire. When Bach asked them for their big secret, they told them they didn't use complex spreadsheets, they didn't rely on extreme penny pinching, and get this, they didn't even use a budget. Why? Because, as they put it, budgets just don't work. Instead, they completely bypassed human discipline by putting their entire financial life on autopilot.
And that brings us to our roadmap for today's explainer. We're going to cover 1. The myth of high income, 2. Pay yourself first, 3. The Latte Factor math, 4. The power of automation, 5. Real estate and boring stocks, and finally, 6. Your automatic action plan. Let's get started. All right, Section 1, the myth of high income. Basically, wealth is about systems, not your salary. The crucial takeaway here is that earning more money simply does not automatically make you rich. Statistics show that 7 out of 10 Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. Over half don't even have $1,000 in emergency savings. And we aren't just talking about low-income earners here. People making $100,000, even $200,000 a year are often flat broke because of massive lifestyle creep. The money comes in and it immediately goes right back out.
Bach compares what he calls the dead broke formula with the rich formula. The dead broke formula is super simple and, unfortunately, really popular. You just spend more money than you make and rack up credit card debt. The rich formula, though, flips that entirely. It's not about painfully clipping coupons. It's about making a deliberate, firm decision to pay yourself first and automating your financial life before you even have a chance to spend a single dime.
Which leads us to Section 2, pay yourself first. Keep the first hour of your daily income. Think about it. Right now, you probably work the first few hours of your day just to pay the government and taxes. Then you work a few more hours for your landlord, the grocery store, maybe the car company. The fundamental mindset shift of a millionaire is treating your own future as your absolute most important bill. You have to keep the first hour of your daily income for yourself.
So, the goal is to keep that first hour of pay, which actually works out to about 12.5% of your gross income. Bach recommends breaking this up using a 3-account strategy. That 12.5% goes straight into a retirement account, like a 401k or IRA. Then you allocate about 5% to an emergency fund for a safety net, and another 5% to a dreams account, for fun stuff like a house down payment, a wedding, or an awesome vacation.
Now, I know what you're probably thinking. 12.5%? There is absolutely no way I can afford that right now. Hey, don't panic. Just start with 1%. Because saving money is exactly like physical exercise. You don't just walk into a gym on day 1 and bench press 300 pounds, right? You start small. If you automate just 1% today, honestly, you won't even notice it's missing from your paycheck, but you'll start building that crucial financial muscle. Okay, Section 3, the Latte Factor math. How small, unconscious expenses cost you a fortune. This is where we uncover where your money is actually leaking out. Now, the Latte Factor isn't literally just about coffee. It represents any small, periodic, totally unconscious spending. It's that streaming subscription you forgot about, the daily takeout lunches, the random treats. It's the money you spend without even thinking that adds very little actual value to your life. Check out this very specific number. It takes exactly $27.40 a day to blow $10,000 a year. Just let that sink in for a second. $27 a day feels like nothing. It's a quick lunch and maybe a couple of coffees. But over a year, that's 10 grand. And over a lifetime? Well, that daily number carries massive, life-altering consequences when you factor in time and investment returns. The math gets even crazier when you really factor in time. If you take that daily $27.40 and instead of spending it, you invest it at a historical 10% return for 40 years, just look at this. The first bar is the total cash you would have spent, about $400,000. But the second bar? That shows what the money would have become through compound interest, an unbelievable $4.4 million. The real cost of a daily habit isn't just the money you spent, it's the literally millions of dollars in lost opportunity.
Which brings us to Section 4, the power of automation, removing human discipline from the equation. Because just knowing the math of the Latte Factor isn't enough, right? We need a system that doesn't rely on human willpower. Why? Because let's face it, willpower always fails eventually. You get tired, you get stressed, you see an ad for a flashy new phone, and suddenly, poof, your discipline is gone. To guarantee success, we have to completely remove ourselves from the equation.
Bach actually saw this firsthand. During his 9 years at Morgan Stanley, well-meaning clients would sit across his desk absolutely swearing they were disciplined enough to write a savings check every single month. But he says every single one of those clients quit within 6 months, without fail. If you have to actively decide to save money every month, life is always going to get in the way.
So the real game changer here is using technology to automate absolutely everything. And you can set this up in less than an hour. Have your employer pull your 401k contribution directly from your paycheck before you even see it. Set up automatic transfers from checking to your emergency fund the very day you get paid. Put all your utility bills and your mortgage on autopay. When your financial life is automatic, your wealth-building habits just work tirelessly in the background without you lifting a single finger.
Moving on to Section 5, real estate and boring stocks, the two primary escalators to wealth. So once you've automated your savings, where should that money actually go? Well, the data is crystal clear on this. The two primary escalators to wealth in the real world are real estate, specifically owning your own home, and boring stock market funds.
The wealth gap between owning and renting is absolutely staggering. The median homeowner in America has a net worth of around $400,000, while the median renter is sitting at just $10,000. Now sure, buying a home is undeniably much harder in today's economy, with higher interest rates and soaring prices, but the core principle stands. A mortgage acts as an automated, forced savings plan that builds massive equity over time.
And for your stock market investments, you do not need to be a day trader. In fact, people who try to get rich quick by trading meme stocks usually stay broke. You simply automate your money into broad, low-cost index funds like VTI, VEA, or QQQ. A pretty standard target is a 70% stock, 30% bond split. Remember, when it comes to your money, boring is beautiful. Your life should be interesting, your investment should be incredibly boring.
Finally, let's hit Section 6, your automatic action plan. Immediate steps to take control of your financial destiny. Because all this information is pretty much useless if we don't execute on it, right? We want you to walk away from this explainer knowing exactly what you need to do right now to get on the path to becoming an automatic millionaire.
So here is your exact to-do list for today. Step 1, log into your company portal or your bank and set up an automatic transfer of just 1% of your income into an investment account. Just 1%. Step 2, do a subscription audit. Literally open your phone settings right now and cancel the streaming services and apps you aren't using. Redirect that cash to your investments. And step 3, if you have debt, implement the DOLP method.
Okay, so what is the DOLP method? It stands for Done on Last Payment. It's essentially the snowball method. You list out your debts, make automatic minimum payments on all of them, but you take any extra cash and automatically throw it at the smallest balance first. Once that one is paid off, you take that entire payment amount and roll it right into the next smallest debt. It builds huge psychological momentum and frees up your cash flow so fast.
As we wrap things up today, I really want you to keep this powerful quote from the book in mind. Sexy is how you go broke when it comes to money. Boring is beautiful when it's about your wealth. Trying to time the market, picking individual stocks, or hunting for the next big crypto coin, that is exactly how people lose their shirts. True, generational wealth is built quietly, consistently, and entirely on autopilot.
So, I'm going to leave you with this final thought to ponder as you finish this explainer. What single financial habit can you put on autopilot right now to change your future? The whole system is laid out right in front of you. You don't need a massive salary, and you definitely don't need superhuman discipline. You just need to set the machine in motion. Go automate your wealth, and we'll see you in the next explainer.